Oh, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And one time I saw Mothman at a Piggly Wiggly in Bremen. So what we're doing today is we're taking a look at a bunch of budget bangers that are all under $20, and these are all stocking stuffers, quick gifts, toolbox knives, tackle box knives, things like that. And these are all what are, in my humble opinion, very good knives for very good money. And remember, folks, my humility is the stuff of legend. I didn't really go online and look up the blade steel on all these because we know, these are all going to be 3CR, 5CR, 9CR. The CR series steels, one of them's VG10, that's what we're dealing with. But we're going to open the door with GVDV, the ZD18. That's a lot of letters. This was $14 on Amazon, and for $14, I got a lot of knife out of this thing. So we've got orange G10 here. The pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. It's not the deepest carry in the world, but it's certainly deep enough. I had this in the waistband for a few days, and this didn't dig in. It didn't rub, no hot spots. It carried very, very comfortably. Let's flick the bean. So you got a nice stonewashed blade right here, and you got orange G10, and this orange looks really, really good in my opinion. I like this orange, and I like it against this black. The only real complaint I have is the apex on the edge is a little bit obtuse. It doesn't like doing that fancy push cut test on paper, but everywhere else, it did great. It did really good on the saran wrap on pallets, getting that cut nicely. It blasted through cardboard. It did great. It just doesn't like that one test. However, if you feel like putting your own edge on it, it'll get you where you want to go. I really like this thing, especially for the money. Like, I went back and looked at how much I spent on it, and I'm looking at it like, 14 bucks? Really? So this really thoroughly impressed me for that price. This is definitely a good one. The next one we're going to look at is our second ticket to GVDV Town, and that's going to be the Zodiac. And I just cracked this thing open this morning, but I've been fidgeting with it all day, and this thing is fantastic. That is a 9CR18 blade, but look at this. Look at the gold and the colors on there, these gold accents here. Like, it's got a stained glass effect, and it's absolutely gorgeous, at least in my opinion. You got a front flipper here, and this is the first front flipper I've had that's been really appropriately sized and works well. The other one is that Saivian that was a huge tank, and the flipper tab on front you can't reach. The detent's very, very stiff, so if you do reach it, you're just going to kind of flip it out of your hand. But this one, let's front flick the bean. It's really good. So you got like a 1.57-inch blade, and this is a really, really small knife. You guys know I love my pocket swords, but this thing really has my attention. Partly for the looks, partly for the front flipper. This small size is great for a fifth pocket or something like that. And everything is really well put together, just like this. The fit and finish are fantastic. These have gone up to $19.99 since I did my video this morning. But it still had the 20% off coupon code when I went back and looked and saw that the other half of the sale got removed like an hour after I did that. But this is probably the best stocking stuffer on the list. This is also very fidget friendly, and I think this is good for people who aren't super into knives because this isn't threatening. This isn't like popping out a rat tube for someone that's not into knives going, why are you doing that? This is something you sit there and fidget with, and, if you're not into knives, but you like really, really good-looking stuff, like this should have your attention. I've gotten these for 3 people. We're waiting on the wife's to come in, because she really loved the way this looked, too. And I think this is probably the best stocking stuffer on the list. And, of course, great for small jobs and great for small, quiet carries. The next one is going to be the Albatross Cool Flipper. And this is the bougie version with the, let's flick the bean. This is a Damascus with a VG10 core, and this was $35. But you can get the poverty spec ones for about $15 or $16, depending on which color you get, and it's a plain blade. This thing's on an axis lock. It's got the flipper tab, and you've also got a hole that you can flick off of. It works better if your fingers are smaller, I think. I can flick off it. It's not the most comfortable, but that's not what it's there for me. The blade shape on this is really cool. This thing carried well. It cut well. It did all the things well. I like it enough that it got its own lanyard bead, which was a green D20. And again, I need to shorten this lanyard up because it can get hung up here and make the knife impossible to open, but I was still learning. This is a very early one. The pocket clip is tip up, that is the Lord's carry, and it's fully deep carry. So this thing, it carries very nicely. I didn't have any hot spotting issues, nothing like that. it was a very good daily user while I was carrying it. Next up on the list is going to be one of the, like we're in super budget showdown territory now, and this is the Camillus Choff, and this thing right here is a comfort king. You see how flat that is? Everything is chamfered, rounded off really nicely. The pocket clip, its tip up, which is the Lord's Carry, is fantastic. This is a nice wide pocket clip that keeps it in place. I love the way Camillus does the sword cutout on their clips. It's great. Camillus has fallen a long way, so if you're looking at like the Vulcan or the Romulus, they look like straight garbage, but the ones they get right, they really get right, and this is one of them. This thing, the only downside of this is the detent. Let's flick the bean. Oh, I made myself sad. The detent's not great. Like, it stayed put in my pocket. It didn't accidentally open. It's just not great for a flipper tab, but throw a little wrist in it. Man, that was too hard. Throw a little wrist in it and it's fine. And if you don't like that, the thumb stud is in the best place possible for this knife. That thumb stud is absolutely sublime. This thing ate up a ton of cardboard and a ton of very nasty cuts and picked up small edge problems. Like, you might be able to strop those out if you got the right stropping compound. This thing was really, really good. I was blown away by it when I got it, and it did good in the super budget showdown. It just got hit by much more premium stuff towards the end there, but this is still a good little carry, especially I think the 11 or 12 bucks I paid for it. The Choff is a really good comfort king and a good toolbox knife. I do recommend it if you like the way it looks, and I think it looks pretty classy. The next one up is going to be the Camillus Wedge, and this one also carried quite well. It's a good small knife. Like, watch this. You see it, and gone. It's a small knife, and, you know, normally I don't like small knives that much, but this one was pretty good. Pocket clip, another tip up, the Lord's Carry, just like everything else I buy. But you got a flipper tab here and a very snappy action. This thing is on bearings, and it rockets out. It doesn't shake shut. The blade's too small. There's not enough weight behind it. But this thing carried well. It survived a ton of cardboard slayer, again with minor edge problems, like very minor for the amount of abuse I put it through. And, you know, it was definitely good to me while I had it on me for that week. And it's a little bit thicker, so it doesn't carry anywhere nearly as comfortably as this, but it's not uncomfortable. You know, I didn't really have any major problems with it, rubbing or hot spotting, anything like that. It just, you could feel that little extra thickness pressing up against you in the waistband. In your pocket, probably not going to be a big deal. But I think this was around 11 bucks, and there's one with green scales that I would have preferred, but it wasn't on Amazon when I looked at it, but I did see that one at Walmart. So these things are in some Walmarts, but it might be like the Ozark Trail Axis locks where they're just not in the Walmarts I can reach. I'm still salty about that. I have not found a single Ozark Trail Axis lock at any of the Walmarts I've been near, and I don't see them on Walmart.com. I'm angry because I wanted to review those so badly. But the next one up is going to be this Zodiac knife right here, and this is a bit gas station-y and goofy, and that's part of what I love about it. But you got pack of wood scales here that, in my opinion, look great. I love the color of these scales, especially with these blue accents right here. And you can see the blue liners, the blue pocket clip here, tip up, Lord's Carry, now that that's out of the way. And what you've got is an assisted open on a 4-inch blade. And that's a pretty snappy assisted open, and this blade is definitely a cool grind. I wound up getting the fake Damascus for the Super Budget Showdown because I found it funny. And that may have been the only one on Pack-A-Wood, but I could be wrong. But you look up Zodiac on Amazon and this comes up, you'll see your options. But it was like a $12 knife. And this thing did perfectly fine on cardboard slayer. It took a lot of abuse, and it carried very, very comfortably. This thing was in the waistband, and everything is rounded and smoothed off so that I knew the weight was there, but it was very, very comfortable, and it felt quite familiar. I'm not sure why. But I loved having this on me, and you can't argue with the, let's flick the bean, 4-inch assisted opener. And it's not such a strong opener that you can't easily close it one-handed. This thing was really good to me, and, you know, it might not be for everybody, but for the guys that like the way it looks, it's definitely going to be a winner for them. This thing carried very, very well. So the next thing we're going to look at is, of course, you knew it was coming, the Harbor Freight Gordon knife, the GK23, and this thing got carried for a week and put through a lot of abuse, especially on cardboard slayer, and it took it like a champ. There are some tiny edge problems from pushing it so hard that it got almost too warm to touch through 20, 30 cuts in a row, just pushing as hard as I could through it. Really nasty material, 2 layers, 3 layers thick. I put it through it all. It took it really well, and this thing, it's got mounting spots on all 4 corners for your pocket clip. Mine is tip up, which is the Lord's carry, as always. Let's flick the bean. It's on ball bearings. It's very, very snappy, and it just falls shut. I did put 2 drops of Hops No. 9 gun lubricating oil in there just to help it out a little bit. I don't think it really needed it, but it made me feel good to do it. And this thing, it carried well. Like, if I have to leave the house for 2 weeks, I can carry this and have no complaints for that whole 2 weeks. Like, this thing is very, very good. I was blown away, especially for a $10 price tag. This is one, if you're at Harbor Freight, go check out the knives, grab one on your way out, and just chuck it in your car. You know, this is definitely a toolbox knife. It's definitely a tackle box knife. And if, like, again, you're going somewhere where you're worried about something bad happening to your knife, this is the one you reach for. And if you want a hype knife from Harbor Freight and you don't want the Icon knife because of the associated stinkiness with it, definitely check this out. Grab one while you're at Harbor Freight. The next one is going to be second place in the Super Budget Showdown, this Crescent Tools knife. And this thing, it just edged it out basically on ergos and, the blade size. Let's flick the beam. That's a good 3.5 inches right there. It's built a little nicer. This liner lock is just sublime right here. It's a nice thick piece of steel for a liner lock. It centers itself really, really well. The blade's really well centered on there. This is $12. And of course, you got this nice smooth action that just shakes shut. Pocket clip is very deep carry. It is tip up, Lord's carry, yada yada. And these red standoffs right here are a nice visual touch. Like, you really cannot go wrong with this. It did really good in the showdown. It handled everything like a champ. It carried very comfortably, no hot spotting, no rubbing. And honestly, the ergos in the hand, even if you hammer grip it, are very, very comfortable. This is another one I could carry it for weeks and nothing else and be very happy with it. This was a very good purchase. I was astounded that this was $12. If you spend $13, you can get aluminum scales instead of whatever composite this is. It might be G10. It wasn't. I don't remember the specs. It's been a while. Next one is the Duratech Tools knife. That's $14.99 on Amazon. And this one took first place in the Super Budget Showdown. A lot of y'all have seen it before, but for that $15, you get this G10 right here that's just wonderfully textured. It gives you grip for days without being uncomfortable. You got your axis lock, which does axis lock things. And you get something special with this. You hold it here, you can get you a good centrifugal flick. Like, this does do a centrifugal open for $15. Like, that's what sold me on this, and that's why it took first place from this. And these only took first place from this based on materials and ergos and visual flair. Your pocket clip is a nice deep carry, tip up, Lord's carry. And this thing was a very comfortable, fun knife to carry. It's a lot of fun to just pull this out and centrifugal open it as much as you want. I really love this thing, and the only thing keeping it out of constant carry right now is I have so much other stuff to deal with. The Temu Super Budget Showdown's happening. And I may have mentioned it before, but Temu-geddon is upon us, and tune in Thursday to see how the first week went. And this thing is an absolute winner. I've got the liner lock version coming in. That was like $8 after the 20% coupon code or whatever it was on Amazon. The liner lock right now is $9. So that could count as a second entry by itself, but I haven't tested that one, but I assume everything is just a skookum. It may still centrifugal open, I don't know. I am looking forward to checking that out when it comes in. The last one I want to show off is one that was $20 on sale at the time of purchase. Of course, it has gone up to $30, but when you catch them on sale, and they do go on sale pretty regularly, that's the Saivian right here. And the thing with me and Saivian is, one, I love almost all of them that I have. I have done a video with these guys. The big tank, the big pocket cleaver, not so much. But this one right here might be my absolute favorite, and it's one of my favorite budget knives, hands down. I love the colors on this. This one got a lanyard bead I made out of Korean countertop material to go with these. And you got a D2 blade. Let's flick the beam. Great detent, very snappy action. And it's the ST-132 if you're interested. And it just shakes shut. This thing is made so well. Everything on it is so good. And I paid $20 for this. And here's the thing. All right, this makes me even more mad at Ganzo than I already am. Okay, because Ganzo's build quality is right up here with this. It's right up with everything else on this table, especially like GVDV, the Crescent, the Duratec. The build quality is there. The materials are there. But it's so many clones and so much stolen IP when they can be doing stuff like Saivian here where they're doing original stuff that's very eye-catching, has a lot of flair, and great bang for the buck. But no, and I would love for Saivian to have a competitor in this particular niche. You know, eye-catching stuff that looks cool, still functions very well, serves a lot of good time as a knife. You know, just great knives for a great price. And like I said, these go on sale pretty regularly, and there's different colorways. There's a natural jade, there's a blue with these colors that I would have preferred, but this is the one that went on sale. And there's one, it's a brown burlap micarta. And a friend of mine got that one. He really loves it. So this thing, if you can catch it on sale, it's the right price to fit here. But even when it's not on sale, it's $30 for a fantastic budget knife. So this is all the stuff that I wanted to show off today. Like I said, 9 for $20 and one that could be $20 when it's on sale. Great stocking stuffers, great fast presence, and like I said, toolbox knives ahoy. But all that being said, and that was a lot to be said, but all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Thank you for the subscribers. We popped up over 300. That went pretty quickly. Thank you guys so much. It is very humbling to have people watch this and get something out of it. Thank you for the comments. I love the feedback. I love getting some dialogue in there. And all that being said, y'all have a nice day.